Here's a quick video on training with Row64 dashboards. So all dashboards in Row64 follow this simple pattern of data, group and transform, chart, and then dashboard. And you can see it's just a matter of these simple tabs at the bottom of Row64. Okay, so to start, we're going to look at getting our raw data, and we just hit the Get Live Data there. And then we can load a table or a data frame off the server. And we've got that here, so we can see, we can just go from here and then pick how we want to combine the data together. So typically for a bar chart or a pie chart, you want to combine together with grouping. So I'll grab the amount and the brand. I'll create a crosslink. So what this is going to do is make a new tab down here at the bottom, and I can either just set it up myself or pick what type of grouping I want to do. So I can create, and you can see there's my first tab, and here's my grouped tab here, and it's ready to put into a bar or pie chart. So I can just click here, chart, and this would be the third step. And now I've created my bar chart, make some little adjustments on here. And then for my final step, it's just, and you see this made a new tab. So each step has its own tab. And then I'm going to go create a new dashboard. It also has its own tab. So here I'll just divide it into 4, click on preview, and then I can start to lay out my dashboard. So you can see step 1, the raw data, step 2, the transformation or the grouping, step 3, the chart, and step 4, the dashboard. So when we go through these 4 stages from data to transform to chart to dashboard, you can see that the first one in Row64 is called a live data frame. And the reason we call it this is a normal data frame is just static. It's a single file. A live data frame is a table or data frame that's connected to the server. And you can just see it's your big pile of data. You can apply a SQL on it, but basically you just pull in your table and then you apply a transformation on it. So this is typically a group, but I want to show you under the hood what's happening. The first step is this runs a series of formulas. The first one is crosslink. So this is just saying, okay, grab column B, grab column F, and put them together into a new tab. Now you can also apply operations or operators or recipes as you pull it over. So you can say, okay, give me B and F, and then group some column B over here. And so you can see it pulled them over here, and then it group summed this column B, which gave us something we're ready to use on a chart. So next we just pull that into a chart, and pretty simple, you just drag and drop the charts into a dashboard. When we look at a more complicated example, we're going to pull a couple charts in the dashboard. So here you can see we've got 3 charts in this dashboard, but they're all coming from the same live data frame. So this is a good strategy if you want to kind of join your tables together, merge them together as much as possible. So then you've got one live data frame or one data source that's driving a bunch of charts. And this makes the cross-filtering work perfectly across all these charts. And you can see when we do the transformations, they all take this big pile of data. The first one is going in and grouping the product and the amount together, just doing a group sum. The second one is grouping together the brand and the amount, and the third, the used and the amount. So these are just different tables in here. And it's pulled them together into 3 different charts. Each one of these is going to be its own tab. And then you just drag those 3 charts into the dashboard, and this is going to work automatically. So let's take a look at setting this up. Okay, so to set up this quickly, I'm just going to grab my hardware sales again. I'm going to link my amount to my product. Now this time I'm not, if I hit group sum, I'll show you what it looks like if you don't hit that. So if I go and erase this, I'll cut that out, and you can see I've pulled out the unfiltered data. So here I've just pulled out the columns, and if I want to do operations on them, I can just click on dashboard over here, and we're growing this pile of different operations, and you run group and sum, and you can see I've just got that recipe there. So there's all these different, we'll look at the recipes in a minute, but you can see we're just basically copying certain columns over from here and then applying these recipes or operators on them. So, and this one I could just quickly, so it's important when I make a chart, I want to select which column I want. And you can see it just auto-filled the labels and the values for that chart. I'm just going to go here and set this to horizontal, small to large, for color. I mean, you can fuss with this however you want. Okay, so there's my chart. And let's go make our other charts. The next chart's the same. We just want to link amount and brand. Create class link, group sum, the same. And you can see it added the same recipes. Chart, pie chart, create. So these I'm just going to drag into the data frame once I have it. The dashboard once I have it. And I'm going to connect new and used. So we just made a few kind of spin-off tabs. So if you were used to Excel, this would be just like making tabs in Excel. And here's our 3 charts. So finally, we just go dashboard, new, divide it up. And it's that easy. We can just go in and drag our charts in here. So here I'll drag this chart in here, this one up here, this one up over here. Now, for example, here, if at the top we wanted that to stay the same height, we could just go click on this and say, I want that to be fixed. And so you see it doesn't change height as we move it. Or if I wanted it to have an exact height in pixels, like 150 pixels, I could just enter that. And we can simply change all those details. Let's drill in for a minute on some of the main recipes that you'll find useful from pulling together charts. Grouping is typically done for pie charts, bar charts, horizontal bar charts, these kinds of things where you're summarizing data. Another very common one is your filtering, where you want to boil down different aspects. Like if you're doing a bubble chart, you may want to filter out one area, or you only want to look at a subset of the data. So filtering applies both to text and to numbers. Dedupe can be useful, especially when you're having people look at record inspection. And finally, reordering. There's all kinds of reordering operators. So most dashboards can be made through these basic operators or basic recipes, but there's also all kinds of special cases that are powerful that can help you out. Okay, next let's look at some cases that are just a little different. So for example, we go from data to our grouping or transforming with the recipes, then our chart, then our dashboard. Well, if we're doing a scatter plot, we're just going to kind of print all the data, throw all our data up onto the dashboard. So we skip this cross-link step. So here you can see part of our chart. We're going from our data to our cross-link to our transform. Then we're going to the chart to the dashboard. But you can see on the scatter, we just went and did a scatter off of, you can see, off of 2 of the columns. And so you can just click directly on your data source to build. And typically you would do this with a line plot, a scatter plot, or a bubble plot. And so that's an exception to this pattern. You can skip a step. Another exception is you can have multiple data inputs. So you can have one data frame, go from here, create cross filters, and then pull together a dashboard. So you can see on the other case, we're just going right from all this data. This is stock data. So we just take the series over time of the stock. It does not need to be cross-linked. So it just goes right into this chart, and then that's thrown on the dashboard right here. Whereas you can see this data here is grouping time together. So it's taken this column here, it's grouped it together, all the sales on that one day, and summed them up. And that's given us this chart. We've thrown it over here. And on this one over here, it's just like a pulling out the purchase types, which is going to be this column over here. So it's, again, a couple things going on. Now, you want to merge together your data sources as much as possible. The advantage is that cross-filtering is going to work. So these are just totally separate pieces of data. So when you click on this one or modify this one, it won't change the other data set. So the dashboard is smart. It groups the data together as much as it can. Okay, finally, let's look at formulas. Formulas are pretty simple, but I'll just show them quickly here. I'm going to switch into diagram mode. Notice in diagram mode, that's where I'm splitting apart the panes and modifying them structurally. I'm going to split this in half. And I want this to sum up the sales. So I can just go in here and click on that. And you see we've got these different tabs here. I can add some text and a formula here. I can go select a widget. I can clear that or select a different widget and clear that. So we just have these options for either the text tab is going to be text and formulas or the widget tab is going to be more advanced behavior. So I can just go in here and type total sales and I want this to be the sum. So I know on my data input, which is the live data frame over here, I want to work off this amount here. So I just go over to my dashboard and I'm going to type sum and I'm ready to go pick my column. I go over here and I click on that amount. I hit enter and then it pulls me back just like Excel does. I could do the same thing on this one and say, okay, average sales. And so it's just a matter of getting the right formula you want in there and clicking on your input column. Oopsie. Let me go back. Okay, here. And click over here and click on my amount. And that did it. Okay, thank you for your interest in Row64 dashboards, and we hope you found this video helpful.